Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Council of Ministers stresses on the importance of diversifying income resources and directs government bodies to commit to allocated expenditure in the budget. The Council approves developing standards of job applications and directs the authorities concerned to upgrade Omani vocational work mechanisms. A decision is issued to determine Sunday, October 26, 2014 as an official leave for the Hijrah anniversary on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the 30th Regional Course discusses in Muscat links between trade, investment and funding in global economy. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cable of thanks from custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in reply to His Majesty's cable of condolences on the death of Her Highnesses Princess Lulua bint Abdul Aziz bin Mus'ad bin Galawi Al Saud. His Majesty the Sultan also received a cable of thanks from His Excellency President Xi Jinping of China in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on the anniversary of the establishment of People's Republic of China. His Majesty has sent a cable of greetings to His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, on the successful comprehensive medical checkups he underwent recently. Within the royal attention of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos to accelerate building and development will to cover all economic and social fields to achieve further progress for Omani economy and continue to improve living standards for the citizens, as well as facilitating all services for the Council of Ministers during its meetings until the mid of this month covered a number of issues related to the sustainable development approaches and the targeted goals for the next stage, in addition to following up implementation of decisions related to the basic requirements of the society, which are as follows. The Council of Ministers studied the State's General Budget Draft 2015, indicating that it will forward to it the Council of Oman, confirming the significance of diversification in income resources through boosting non-oil revenues, and directed government entities to commit within the level of allocated expenditure of the budget and increase the benefits from the development program to keep financial and economic stability of the country. It also approved developing standards of job applications to guarantee settlements of Omanis working in the private sector and direct the competent authorities to develop Omani vocational mechanisms to improve work at training institutions in the Sultanate and to prepare a dependent list to organize training for the projects financed by the country. It also directed to intensify visits paid by officials to the wilayas to follow up provided services and get acquainted with the implementation level of the development project in the governorate of Buremi. The Council also stressed on the importance to pay attention to the water sector, as well as to maintenance of fallages and construction of underground feeding dams as a priority in the next 5-year plan, and to reach a number of mechanisms and programs to search for new underground water reservoirs, providing non-conventional water, benefiting from programs prepared for artificial draining, applying new irrigation system means, usage of water rationalizing methods to limit consumptions of underground water, as well as applying of integration management principles for water resources and developing them with a balanced way between social and economic needs. During its meeting, it approved the importance of reviewing controls of encouraging and developing mechanisms for attracting foreign investments to the Sultanate and discussed the report presented by the Ministry of Transport and Communications on moving commercial activities from Port Sultan Qaboos to Sahar Port, directing competent authorities to facilitate the followed procedures and to intensifying cooperation with the private sector to make the progress smooth in the port and increase the commercial movement. It also reviewed the implementations on stand for the comprehensive development project of one-stop station of investment and directed to speed up achieving it and facilitate the difficulties which may face these aspects. The Council of Ministers stressed the significance to increase benefiting from fisheries wealth in the Sultanate through encouraging the investors to establish more projects and approved determining the areas of allocated for pisciculture projects on land and sea. It approved recommendations prepared by the House of Expertise on traffic safety in the Sultanate and directed the authorities concerned to set up implementation mechanisms for those recommendations and coordinated to apply them in reality. In the field of health and social security, the Council approved to raise the level of the National Committee for Drug Affairs and approved the establishing of National Centre concerned of drug affairs for all prevention and treatment fields and directed to accelerate preparing national strategy to combat drugs and narcotics. It also approved a group of control regarding allocating land plots for rehabilitation centers for the disabled run by domestic and private sector, as well as approving the general policy to manage documents and archives during the period from 2014 until 2020. The Council of Ministers discussed recommendations of the work team of mechanisms and plans prepared for implementation of provisions of the United Nations Convention to combat corruption and designated the state's financial and administrative audit institution to follow up and implement the United Nations Convention in this field. It also approved the State Council to organize the awareness symposium on the importance of protecting the lands owned by the government and forwarded the draft law of cooperative insurance to the Council of Oman, as well as forwarding the draft of avoiding double taxation for the income between the Sultanate and Swiss Confederation to the Shura Council, in addition to approving of a number of their excellencies, the ministers, to present their statements before the Council of Ministers during the next period. His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal bin Saud Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of the Royal Court and Chairman of the Civil Service Council, today issued a decision to determine leave for the Hijrah anniversary of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to be Sunday, October 26, 2014, for employees of ministries, public authorities and other units of the state's administrative apparatus. His Excellency Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser Al Bakri, Minister of Manpower, issued a decision announcing that Sunday, October 26th of 2014 is an official leave for employees at the private sector companies and establishments. The decision allowed employers and employees to agree on compensating this leave if necessity arises, as well as compensating employees whose weekly leave coincides with the mentioned occasion. All employees in public and private sectors extended their heartfelt greetings and best wishes to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos on this blessed occasion, praying to Allah the Almighty to protect His Majesty, grant him good health, happiness and long life, and for the return of these and similar occasions on His Majesty, the Omani people and the beloved country with further progress and prosperity under the wise leadership of His Majesty the Sultan, and for all Muslims with good omen and blessings. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry, in cooperation with the United Nations Convention for Trade and Development Organization, UNCTAD, organized the 30th Regional Course. It started in Muscat today and related to main issues of global economy. It discussed links between trade, investment, funding and development, including the contents of international commercial negotiations. His Excellency Ahmed bin Hassan Al-Dhib, and the Secretary of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry for Commerce and Industry, stated that experts selected by UNCTAD to present the course and train the participants on trade policies of concern to Arab and international countries. It aims to provide participants with knowledge, skills to adopt and implement trade and development policies of the needs to their countries. The two-week course curriculum depends on the UNCTAD perspective. It's analyzing work and the lessons benefited from its special activities in technology cooperation. His Excellency Hamoud bin Sangur Al-Zidgali, Executive President of Central Bank of Oman, stressed that the economic situation of the Sultanate is stable despite the instability of oil prices and economy of some developed countries, indicating that the oil prices are exceptional and may become better in the near future. He said that regarding CBO banking sector is in a good financial status. Banks' capitals are in high level and they will not be affected with the ongoing situation, indicating that Omani economy is growing as well as great projects are carried out as planned. Investment in human capital and the role of the Ministry of Higher Education to upgrade the outputs of human resources were the center of discussions in human resources and preparation for future conference. The event it's being organized by Oman Establishment for Press Publication and Advertisement. The inauguration ceremony of the conference was presided over by His Excellency Sultan bin Salim Al Habsi, Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Planning. A host of local and international experts in human resources take part in this 4 days event. It aims to highlight domestic and international implications in the field of developing human resources, raising their competitive capabilities and suggesting solutions and plans to overcome challenges facing human resources development. The Sultanate is taking part in the meetings of the Regional Committee of the World Health Organization for the Middle East in its 61st round in the Tunisian capital. The Sultanate's delegation is presided over by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Saidi, Minister of Health, head of the previous round. He will deliver a speech to highlight the Sultanate's role in succeeding the suggested recommendations and programs of the previous round, which was held in Muscat at the end of October last year. After that, His Excellency will deliver the committee's chairmanship to the Minister of Health of Tunisia. The round discusses a number of topics, mainly methods of poliomyelitis eradication, tobacco-free, achieving development objectives, the regional strategy to overcome immune deficiency, international health safety, implementation of the political declaration of the United Nations General Assembly on prevention of non-communicable diseases, ways of strengthening health systems among member countries. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television. Still to come in our news bulletin. A number of promising investment opportunities provided by £1 million debt palm project await for small and medium enterprises. Welcome back. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television. Education and cultural and other matters of mutual concern between the Sultanate and the United States of America were at the center of meeting of His Excellency Abdul Aziz bin Mohammed Al Rawas, advisor to His Majesty the Sultan for Cultural Affairs, with Ivan Ryan, Assistant to U.S. Secretary of State for Educational and Cultural Affairs. Talks also dealt with the historical and civilizational aspects of the Sultanate and role of institutions in highlighting cultural diversity and preservation of Omani identity. Talks also covered ways of enhancing cooperation and exchange of cultural and knowledge between the Sultanate and the United States. His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz Al-Mandhari, Chairman of the State Council, received Her Excellency Anna Makinda, Chairperson of Tanzanian Parliament, and her delegation. They discussed aspects of cooperation in parliamentary fields and acquainted with achievements during previous years and stages of parliamentary work in the Sultanate. The guest made a statement in which she said that Omani businessmen are invited to visit Tanzania to set up joint ventures, especially in food and agriculture, exchange of parliamentary works, especially that related to women, to enhance women's role in the Shura Council and Tanzanian Parliament. A session of talks was held at the Shura Council between Omani and Tanzanian sides. The Omani side was led by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal al-Mawali, chairman of the Shura Council, as the Tanzanian side was led by Her Excellency Anna Makinda, chairperson of Tanzanian Parliament. During that session, a briefing was presented on the role of monitoring and legislative means carried out by the Shura Council, in addition to ways of developing cooperation between the Sultanate and Tanzania in these fields. They also spoke about permanent committees and their functions in studying draft laws, their amendments, and the two sides called for enhancing joint work and to activate Omani-Tanzanian Friendship Group. Her Excellency Anna Makinda, chairperson of Tanzanian Parliament, toured the premises of the Council of Oman and acquainted with its halls and modern technology used in voting on draft projects and ways of their discussions, in addition to advanced facilities contained in the premises. Within the context of her visit to the Sultanate, Her Excellency Anna Makinda, chairperson of Tanzanian Parliament, and her delegation visited Royal Opera House, Muscat. She listened to a briefing on the house and its facilities, nature of shows presented throughout the year, and technology contained within and considered most modern facilities for international music shows. The chairperson of Tanzanian Parliament expressed her admiration of the Royal Opera House, Muscat, as educational and cultural landmark that house activities and events of domestic and international levels. Comprehensive educational ways to prepare teachers and assessment in special education were the topics discussed at the Gulf Collaboration Symposium for Advancement of Special Education Programs, which commenced in Muscat today. The event was presided over by Her Excellency Madiha bint Ahmed al-Shaybaniya, Minister of Education. The symposium is a great chance for participants to exchange information and expertise and discusses the status of special education program in Gulf states. Some 13 work papers are delivered by Arab and foreign experts. The symposium came in line with the government's tendency to review educational policies in a way that contribute to the development of educational system in the Sultanate as per the 2040 national strategy. Successful local and international experiments in the field were presented during the event that embodied handicapped people's capabilities and their role in human sustainable development. Strong relations that bind the Sultanate and the State of Kuwait in judicial aspects and levels of continuous contact and coordination between the two sides to strengthen these relations were at the top of discussions of His Excellency Hussein bin Ali al-Hilali, Attorney General with the judicial delegation at the Public Prosecution of Kuwait, who is on a visit to the Sultanate. A briefing was made for the visiting delegation on public prosecution in the Sultanate and development and modernization in it, witnessed within the context of the state of institutions being lived by the Sultanate and work to complete the national setup. The Minister of Health updating guideline committee and preparing tenders of pharmaceutical preparations for the year 2015, which stemmed from Executive Office of the Council of Health Ministers of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, discussed principles, regulations and technical conditions for a number of tenders. They discussed medicine tenders contained milk group for metabolic diseases, vaccine, chemicals, insect control, artificial kidney solutions and radioisotopes tenders. The meeting was attended by representatives from the Ministry of Health of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries and a number of other government units. A number of promising investment opportunities provided by 1 million date palm projects await for small and medium enterprises. This was affirmed by a seminar on the project in the Wilaya of Nizwa in the Governorate of Dakhiliya, which was held on the sidelines of Omani Dates Palm Festival. The seminar highlighted the economic and social goals of the project and its phases. In implementation of Omani Tourism Strategy Projects plans, the Minister of Tourism organized a workshop in the Governorate of Al-Dhahira that shed light on the significance of touristic sites as being a new resources for the diversification of economic income resources. The event is part of workshop and visit to various touristic sites as part of the ministry endeavor to set up a national tourism strategy. Specialists from the Ministry of Tourism along with international experts visited the wilayas of the Governorate of Al-Dhahira to get acquainted with tourism's potentials, identify and evaluate these touristic sites to study ways of developing them. The visit also included discussion sessions with public and private officials and entrepreneurs. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and now to end the news, here are the main points once again. The Council of Ministers stresses on the importance of diversifying income resources and directs government bodies to commit to allocated expenditure in the budget. The Council approves developing standards of job applications and directs the authorities concerned to upgrade Omani vocational work mechanisms. A decision is issued to determine Sunday, October 26, 2014 as an official leave for the Hijrah anniversary of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the 30th Regional Course discusses in Muscat links between trade investments and funding in global economy. With that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the studio and the newsroom, we thank you for joining us.